Hey, folks. Before we start this next segment, I just want to point out that as Mr. Red and Miss Chelsea get into their places and ready for the scene, that this particular scene was written and directed by our very own Shannon Ship, who's standing by here to tell us a little more about the scene. So take it away, Shannon.
Thanks, Dane. Hello, everyone. My name, of course, as Dane mentioned, is Shannon. I writ and directed this scene. This scene is called Friendship Can Die. It is from the show I have written called Love Next Door. And this show is about two teenagers, Grace and James, who have been friends their whole lives. And when Grace moves in, well, I should say James moves in across the street where Felicity, the person who bullies Grace all the time, lives, and they start to fall in love. However, before all that, we have this scene, which is their first fight. Now, they have never had a fight before, which is why this scene is so important, and I hope you guys like it. It's based off a conversation they had earlier that James asked Grace to keep his secret of, just in case Felicity, who likes James, found out. Take it away, Dane. Thank you.
All right, here we go. We are outside the household of the Maraninas family. We see a young man run up to the door. He is all sweaty and seems to have been running for a while. This is James Humbler. He frantically knocks on the door and then rings the bell. Next, you see a woman about in her mid-30s to early 40s come to answer the door. This is Tina, or Mrs. Marinina, Grace's mother.
Hey, Miss Marinina. Is Grace home? I need to talk to her. It's an emergency.
Yes, no, just calm down and I'll go get her. Why don't you come in and try to take a breather, okay?
Okay, thanks.
James goes over and sits on the couch, trying to catch his breath. Meanwhile, Tina exits and comes back in with Grace, who seems to be cleaning some kind of bracelet.
I'll give you some space. Something tells me you have to talk something out.
Thanks again.
Don't mention it, I'll do it anytime.
Tina exits as Grace starts to notice that James is very sweaty.
So, how you doing? Do you want to tell me what you're doing here? And why you're so sweaty?
Oh, sorry, I just ran here from the skate park.
The one 10 miles away?
Yeah, that's the one.
And you didn't think to take the bus or ask your mom for a ride?
Right, that might have been smarter, but this is serious. I need to talk with you right away.
Okay, well, what is it?
Well, you know the conversation we had earlier about me moving and all?
Yes. Are you changing your mind?
No, it's not that.
He then notices her cleaning the bracelet and starts to lose focus.
I'm sorry, but what are you doing?
Oh, the bracelet? I'm just cleaning it.
Our friendship bracelet, the one I got you in kindergarten, after you gave me the other half of the set?
Yeah. So?
Knowing how clumsy and reckless Grace can be, he starts to get nervous about their friendship, especially why she has it off.
But you said you never took it off, especially because you might lose it.
Well, it just got a little dirty when I fell earlier, okay? It's no big deal.
He is a little distracted by what Grace said about it being no big deal. He looks down at his own bracelet, but he eventually decides to let it go, trying to continue the important thing he was about to say.
Well, okay. So what was I saying?
The conversation we had earlier about you moving in next door, where Felicity, the person who bullies me all the time, lives, or should I say lived?
Oh, right.
Well, what is it?
Well, apparently Felicity somehow found out about me moving in. She's not happy about it. But I swear, I checked and made sure no one was around when I talked to you.
Oh man, Taylor and I knew she was not going to be happy when she found out. Oh, if she was going to, of course.
I know, and
James's face drops and becomes a little hardened after he hears her say that, and remembers the deal she made earlier with him not to tell anyone.
And what?
well, Grace, I know my best friend, and after promising me not to tell anyone about me moving, would break that promise. Right?
There's no answer, as Grace remembered the promise she made earlier in that very conversation. She can't believe she forgot and is speechless.
Right?
James, I...
No, you know what? It doesn't even take Felicity to try to break our friendship, because apparently you can do that on your own. How could I even think to be friends with someone so reckless and clumsy? Can't wait to tell Felicity not to even bother. You know what, Grace? Don't talk to me. Just stay away from me. I guess I need some time to think this over.
James looks down at the bracelet and starts to take it off.
And you know what? I really hope you lose that bracelet, because now I've lost mine.
James sets the bracelet down on the table and begins to slowly exit.
I still can't believe you.
James?
James, with his hand now on the door, slowly turns back and looks at her. He then shakes his head in disgust and slams the door. Grace's head falls. Blackout.